You finally lie down in bed after a long day, your body heavy with exhaustion, every muscle aching for rest. And you close your eyes with the hope that sleep will come quickly. But within moments, maybe even seconds, your mind begins to stir. A thought appears seemingly out of nowhere, and then another, and then suddenly you're not just lying in bed anymore. You're somewhere else entirely. You're replaying a conversation from 3 days ago, analyzing every word you said, every expression on the other person's face, wondering if you said something wrong, if they're upset with you, if you've damaged the relationship somehow. Or maybe your mind jumps to tomorrow, to all the things you have to do, all the ways things could go wrong, all the scenarios where you fail or disappoint someone or can't keep up. Or perhaps it drifts backward into memories you thought you'd move past, moments of shame or rejection or hurt that suddenly feel as vivid and painful as they did when they first happened. And with each thought, your body responds. Your heart starts beating faster. Your breath becomes shallow. Your chest tightens. Your stomach clenches. You're lying perfectly still in a dark, quiet room, but inside you feel like you're in crisis, like you're being chased, like something terrible is happening or about to happen. And the more you try to quiet your mind, the louder it becomes. The more you tell yourself to just relax and go to sleep, the more agitated you feel. And so you lie there, hour after hour sometimes, caught in this exhausting spiral of racing thoughts and physical tension, feeling utterly alone in your struggle, wondering why you can't just rest like everyone else seems to be able to do. If this is your nightly reality, if this is what bedtime has become for you, I want you to know first, and most importantly, that you are not broken. You are not doing something wrong. You are not weak or damaged because your mind spirals at night and your body won't calm down. What you're experiencing is your nervous system responding to something, even if you can't consciously identify what that something is. Your mind isn't racing just to torture you. Your body isn't staying activated just to keep you from sleep. There are reasons, deep and often invisible reasons, why nighttime has become this difficult space for you. Why the moment you lie down and try to rest, everything inside you seems to wake up and demand attention. And understanding those reasons, really understanding them with compassion rather than judgment, can be the first step toward finding your way back to restful nights, toward teaching your body that nighttime can be safe, that bed can be a place of peace rather than a place of struggle. Let's talk about why nighttime is so often when our minds spiral most intensely, why the very time we're supposed to rest becomes the time we're most agitated. During the day, there's so much happening. There are tasks to complete, people to interact with, places to be, things demanding your attention. And all of that external stimulation, all of that activity, it keeps your mind occupied. It keeps the difficult thoughts and feelings at bay because you simply don't have space to process them. You're too busy surviving the day, managing responsibilities, maintaining the persona you present to the world. But then night comes. The day's demands fall away. The distractions disappear. The world gets quiet. And suddenly there's space. There's silence. And into that space rushes everything you've been pushing away all day, everything you've been too busy to feel or think about or process. The stress from work, the tension in a relationship, the worry about money or health or the future, the sadness you've been carrying, the anger you've been suppressing, the fear that lives just beneath the surface of your awareness. All of it comes flooding in the moment you lie down because finally there's room for it. And your mind, trying to make sense of all these feelings, trying to solve all these problems, trying to protect you from all these perceived threats, it starts racing. It starts spiraling. It jumps from thought to thought, from worry to worry, from memory to imagined future, trying desperately to find resolution, to find safety, to find some way to make everything okay. Your body is also shifting states when you lie down at night, moving from the active, doing mode of daytime into what should be a rest and digest mode. But if your nervous system doesn't feel safe, if it's been in a state of chronic activation, if it's learned through past experience that letting your guard down is dangerous, then this transition becomes a threat rather than a relief. When your body starts to slow down, when your muscles begin to relax, when your breath starts to deepen, your nervous system might interpret that as vulnerability. It might sound an alarm that says it's not safe to rest, it's not safe to let go. You need to stay alert, you need to stay vigilant, Something bad could happen if you're not paying attention. And so even though your body is exhausted, even though you desperately need sleep, your nervous system keeps you activated. It keeps your mind racing and your body tense because in its understanding, that's what keeps you safe. That's what has kept you safe in the past. And so that's what it continues to do, even when the actual danger is long gone, even when you're now in a safe bed, in a safe room, with no real threat present. For those who grew up in environments where nighttime wasn't safe, where bedtime meant unpredictability or danger or being alone with scary thoughts or feelings, your nervous system carries that memory. Even if you don't consciously remember feeling afraid at night as a child, even if you have no explicit memories of nighttime trauma, your body might still carry the imprint of those experiences. Maybe you had to listen for sounds of conflict between parents, had to stay alert to know if someone was going to come into your room, had to manage big feelings all by yourself in the dark because there was no one to comfort you or help you feel safe. And so nighttime became associated not with rest and comfort, but with vigilance and fear and loneliness. And now, even decades later, even in completely different circumstances, when you lie down at night, your nervous system remembers. It goes back to that old pattern, that old state of alertness, because that's what it learned to do. That's what nighttime means in your body's memory. And so you spiral not because you're choosing to, not because you're doing something wrong, but because your body is responding to echoes of the past, to patterns that were formed long ago when they were necessary for survival. Perfectionism and internalized pressure also often intensify at night. During the day, you might be able to push through, to perform, to maintain the appearance of having it together. But at night, when you're alone with yourself, when there's no one to perform for and no tasks to distract you, all the ways you feel you failed come rushing in. All the things you didn't accomplish, all the ways you weren't good enough, all the standards you didn't meet, all the people you think you disappointed. And your mind replays the day looking for mistakes, looking for evidence of your inadequacy, looking for all the ways you could have done better. And with each perceived failure, the spiral deepens. The anxiety grows. The shame intensifies. And sleep becomes impossible because how can you rest when you're being flooded with evidence of your unworthiness, when your mind is convinced that you need to figure out how to be better, how to do better, how to finally be good enough that you can stop feeling this way? Right now, as you hear these words, I want you to just notice where you are and how your body feels. You don't need to change anything. You don't need to fix anything. Just bring your awareness gently into your body. Are you holding tension somewhere? Is your jaw tight? Are your shoulders raised? Is there a churning or tightness in your stomach? Is your breath shallow? Just notice, without judgment, without trying to make it different. Your body has been carrying so much, has been working so hard to keep you safe, has been managing these nightly spirals for so long. And it's tired. It's so deeply tired. And maybe, just for this moment, you can acknowledge that tiredness. You can feel the weight of your exhaustion without immediately trying to push through it or fix it or make it go away. You can just be here in your body, feeling whatever you're feeling, and that can be okay. Let's connect with your breath for a moment, because your breath is always here, always available, always anchoring you to the present moment. You're not trying to change your breath or make it deeper or slower or different from what it is. You're just noticing it. Feel the air moving in through your nose or mouth. Feel the gentle rise of your chest or belly. Feel the natural pause at the top of the inhale. Feel the soft release as you exhale. Your breath happens in the present moment. It's not worried about tomorrow. It's not replaying yesterday. It's just here, now, breathing, keeping you alive, keeping you connected to your body. And as you follow your breath, as you really feel it, you might notice that the spiraling thoughts slow down just a little bit. Not because you're forcing them to stop, not because you're trying to make them go away, but because you're giving your attention to something else, something steady, something real, something that's happening right now rather than in the past or the imagined future. You can also bring your awareness to the sensation of lying down, if you're in bed or sitting wherever you are. Feel the surface beneath you holding your weight. Feel how you don't have to hold yourself up, how you can let yourself be supported. Feel the texture of the sheets or blankets if you're in bed, the softness or firmness of the surface beneath you. Feel the weight of your body sinking down, being held. This is grounding. This is coming back into physical reality, into the present moment, into the actual experience of being in your body rather than lost in the endless spiral of thoughts. And as you feel yourself being held, being supported, something inside might begin to soften. Maybe it's just a tiny bit, maybe barely noticeable, but it's there. A slight easing of tension, a gentle slowing of the racing mind, a moment of relief from the constant churning. I want you to understand something about those spiraling thoughts, about the way your mind races at night. The thoughts themselves aren't the problem. The problem is that you're trying to solve them, trying to resolve them, trying to think your way through them when they're not actually solvable through thinking. When your mind spirals into worry about the future, it's trying to prevent bad things from happening by imagining every scenario and planning for every possibility. But the future hasn't happened yet. You can't actually solve it. You can't control it no matter how much you think about it. When your mind replays past conversations or events, it's trying to process them, trying to make sense of them, trying to change them somehow. But the past is done. It can't be changed. No amount of mental replay will alter what happened. And when your mind jumps into shame spirals, telling you all the ways you're not good enough, it's actually trying to protect you in a twisted way. It thinks that if it can point out all your flaws first, if it can criticize you before anyone else does, then maybe you'll be motivated to change, to be better, to avoid rejection or failure. But shame doesn't actually help you grow or change. It just makes you feel worse. It just keeps you stuck in the spiral. So what if, instead of trying to solve the thoughts, instead of engaging with them or fighting them or trying to make them stop, you just notice them? What if you could observe your mind spiraling without getting pulled into the spiral? You might say to yourself, gently and without judgment, "Oh, there's my mind spiraling again. There's that worried thought. There's that shame story. There's that replay of the past." And then, instead of following those thoughts, instead of letting them carry you away, you bring your attention back to something in the present moment. Back to your breath. Back to the sensation of your body. Back to the sounds in the room or the feeling of the sheets against your skin. You're not suppressing the thoughts. You're not pretending they're not there. You're just choosing not to feed them, not to give them all your attention and energy. You're letting them be there while you focus on something else, something grounding, something real. This is hard. This takes practice. Your mind has been spiraling at night for a long time, maybe years, maybe your whole life. It's a deeply ingrained pattern. And patterns don't change overnight. But every time you notice the spiral without getting lost in it, every time you bring yourself back to the present moment, back to your breath, back to your body, you're creating a new neural pathway. You're teaching your nervous system something new. You're showing it that you can be with difficult thoughts and feelings without being destroyed by them, that you can notice worry or shame or fear without having to solve it or fix it or make it go away. And over time, with patience and repetition, the spirals start to lose their power. They become less intense, less consuming. They might still happen, but they don't take you over completely the way they used to. Your body also needs to relearn that nighttime is safe, that lying down and letting your guard down won't lead to danger. And this happens through repeated experiences of actually being safe at night, of lying in bed and nothing bad happening, of your nervous system gradually registering that it can relax, that it can rest, that vigilance isn't necessary. You can help this process by creating a sense of safety and comfort in your bedroom, in your nighttime routine. Maybe it's soft lighting instead of harsh overhead lights. Maybe it's keeping the temperature comfortable. Maybe it's having soft textures around you, things that feel good against your skin. Maybe it's gentle sounds like soft music or white noise that create a cocoon of comfort. Maybe it's a weighted blanket that provides gentle pressure and helps your nervous system feel contained and safe. These aren't just little comforts. They're actually signals to your nervous system. They're ways of communicating safety, of telling your body through sensory experience that this is a safe space, that you're cared for, that you can let go. You can also practice placing a hand on your own heart or belly when you're lying in bed and the spiral starts. Feel the warmth of your hand on your body. Feel your heartbeat beneath your palm. Feel the rise and fall of your breath under your hand. This is self-soothing. This is the kind of comforting touch that a caregiver might have offered you as a child when you were scared or couldn't sleep. And if you didn't receive that, if no one helped you feel safe at night, you can offer it to yourself now. You can be that comforting presence for yourself. You can say, either silently or out loud, I'm here. I'm with you. You're safe. It's okay. I'm not going to leave you. These aren't just words. They're a promise you're making to yourself, a commitment to not abandon yourself even when things feel hard, even when your mind is spiraling and your body is tense. You're staying present. You're staying connected. You're offering yourself the care and compassion you need. There's also something important about acknowledging the loneliness of this experience. The way nighttime spiraling can make you feel so isolated, so different from everyone else, so convinced that no one else struggles the way you do. You look around at the world, and it seems like everyone else sleeps peacefully. Everyone else can just lie down and rest without their mind attacking them or their body refusing to calm down. And that makes you feel broken, abnormal, fundamentally different. But the truth is, so many people experience this. So many people lie awake at night with racing thoughts and anxious bodies. So many people know exactly what it's like to dread bedtime, to feel exhausted but unable to rest, to be alone with a spiral night after night. You are not alone in this. You're not uniquely broken. You're experiencing something that's actually quite common, even though it's not talked about enough. Even though people suffer through it in silence, thinking they're the only one. As we move toward the end of our time together, I want to offer you this image, this possibility to hold onto. Imagine lying in bed and feeling your body begin to relax. Your shoulders drop. Your jaw unclenches. Your breath deepens naturally, without effort. And your mind, instead of immediately spiraling, just rests. There might be thoughts, but they're gentle, soft, passing through without urgency or demand. You feel the warmth of your blankets around you. You feel the softness of your pillow. You feel safe in your own bed, in your own body, in the quiet darkness. And slowly, peacefully, you drift toward sleep, not struggling, not fighting, just allowing, just resting, just being held by the comfort around you and the safety you've created within yourself. I know this might seem impossible right now. I know your experience of nighttime has been so different, so difficult for so long. But this is possible. Your body can relearn safety at night. Your mind can learn to quiet. The spirals can lose their intensity. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes patience and compassion for yourself through the hard nights that will still come. But you can find your way to restful nights, to peaceful sleep, to bedtime being a relief rather than a source of dread. Every night that you practice bringing yourself back to the present moment. Every night that you offer yourself compassion instead of criticism. Every night that you acknowledge the spiral without getting lost in it. You're moving toward that possibility. You're teaching your nervous system that nighttime is safe. You're showing your body that it can rest without danger. You're creating new patterns, new pathways, new ways of being with yourself when the world gets quiet and the day falls away. And slowly, perhaps imperceptibly at first, but then more noticeably, things will shift. The racing thoughts will slow. The physical tension will ease. The dread of bedtime will transform into something gentler, maybe even something you look forward to. You'll discover that you can lie down and rest, that you can be with yourself at night without spiraling, that your body knows how to calm down when it feels safe enough to do so. And in those moments, in those peaceful nights, you'll realize that you've made it. You've found your way back to rest. You've reclaimed nighttime as a space of safety and comfort and peace. And you'll know that all the hard work, all the practice, all the nights of struggling and trying and being gentle with yourself, it was worth it. Because you deserve peaceful nights. You deserve restful sleep. You deserve to lie down in bed and feel safe in your own body, in your own mind, in the quiet darkness. And that's not just a dream. It's a possibility that's available to you, waiting for you, ready for you to step into it one breath, one night, one moment of presence at a time.